Day one of turning is a fail. The thing came off the truck twice, both when I was working on the inside here. The outside went fine, although I had to keep re-truing it up. I got some tear out here in the end grain. I don't know what the deal with that is. They're carbide tools and they're brand new, so they should be sharp. I don't know if it's my technique or what, but yeah, it's no good. That I can sand for the most part though. The problem is on the back, because of the shape and everything, I was trying to use double stick tape to mount it on. I've seen a lot of people do that with some success, but I think I might have the wrong kind of tape. It didn't hold and it flew off, bashed up the lip here, which I turned all true again. Then tried again. The second time I just said screw it and screwed literally right into the bottom of it with 4 screws. But because I didn't want them to obviously go into where the hollow in the bowl would be, I only let them go in about 1/4 inch, and they still ended up tearing out. I don't know if this is a problem with my lathe or the speed or my tool or technique, probably my technique, but yeah, something's not working and I don't know exactly what to do about it. So we've reached that point in the day where I officially say screw it and go have some beer, and tomorrow I will regroup. It's been frustrating. I'm getting a lot of vibration right now, so I'm gonna run over to the hardware store and pick up a bottom shelf. That thing has no bottom shelf right now, which is not great. And maybe a couple bags of cement. I've seen people do that before to kind of, you know, jerry rig some weight to the bottom, and I might cut some rubber mat to put underneath the feet. That lathe is an old lathe. It's so old like you can't get parts for it really, which is why I have no chuck or anything. I don't even know if they ever made a chuck for that lathe. So I'm gonna go get what I can to stabilize it, because the vibration I think is not helping my situation with the bowl flying off, and we'll go from there, see what happens. All right, I don't know if this is gonna make a big difference, but the vibration was getting annoying, so I put a bottom shelf on here, screwed that in, grabbed some straps of rubber, put those under the feet. Hopefully that'll dampen the vibration some. If this works, I'll make a more permanent solution. And then threw 150 pounds worth of concrete on the bottom shelf. So let's see how that goes. Oh, I had the camera off, but she flew off again. And I'm beginning to see what the problem is. I'm getting a shit ton of vibration, so I think it's just too hard on the glue joint. This paper trick worked really well. Thank you to, I can't remember the name right now, but whoever suggested that. This seems like a really good way to bust off a sacrificial glue block. Unfortunately, even though this dried overnight, the vibration was still enough to break it loose on its own. So not being one to give up, I'm going to take a new tactic, and I am going to go over to the drill press, drill out the vast majority of this, and then I'll just shape the bare minimum of the inside after I make an attempt to flatten this, because the reason I'm getting so much vibration is I think this is not quite true. No matter how much I shape it, this thing always introduces some level of wobble, and the further I get away from the base, the more wobble I get. So all this outer work I'm doing right here is just, you know, being a pain in the ass. I don't know if this is considered cheating in the lathe world, but I said I'm gonna make a bowl, and god damn it, I'm gonna. now the motor is making this terrible sound. I don't know if there's a fan blade that's bent or what, but something's definitely not right. So I'm gonna go yank this damn gear off, see if I can figure out what the hell's going on. If something fell down in there or what. Kind of sounds like there's a loose piece of metal in there. I'm wondering if either a chunk of the fan blade or because of all the vibration, maybe something rattled loose. I don't know. But I don't care if I have to rebuild this stupid motor. I don't care if this bowl ends up being the size of a thimble. I will turn a bowl today. Wasn't that a treat? So the back end of this pulley is mostly hollow, which meant that the key, which was held in by a little grub screw right there, rattled loose due to the vibration, and the key fell into the back here, which subsequently kind of got jammed. So that was what all that terrible metal on metal noise was. On the bright side, it came off relatively easy with the gear puller, and I should be able to put it all back together with a touch of Loctite and be good to go. And we're back in business. Just filled a couple of little gaps I saw with some CA. Sand those smooth before I continue. I don't think they'd be a problem, but just in case. I'm not really trying to hide them exactly. I kind of like them. Give it as a to be sort of a testament of my lack of skill when I made it. The wet here is just the activator spray. Got a cool effect when you turn it, when the light moves past it. Okay, not sure exactly how I managed not to hit record, but this is a jeweler saw, and that is a spiral cut scroll saw blade, chucked up in it there. And I just went through and cut that shape out. Obviously, it's going to need some sanding to smooth it all out and everything. This was the shape I just cut out of there. That actually worked really well. So, not sure how I missed that, but oh well. We move on. So I'm going to take some files and some sandpaper and clean up all the inside here and round over the edges and whatnot, and then I'll go back to adding finish. Okay, so rough sanding done, and I'm going to have to work through all the grits. That's about as far as I trust getting it down there on this lathe with the amount of off center and wobble and chatter and stuff I'm getting. So I will complete the sanding and finishing just by hand off the lathe. This thing just busted right off, just right at one of the laminations. The rest of this I'll get off with the chisel. So this is a pretty common mixture. I only got a little bit left, but it should be enough to get the first coat on here. It's just 1 part mineral spirits, 1 part wipe-on poly, 1 part boiled linseed oil. As the day progresses, I'll put several more coats on until I get the desired finish. All right, I'm calling this bad boy done. This is my first ever bowl. In all honesty, I'm not that happy with the way it turned out. It's not quite the shape that I wanted because I had to reduce the size so many times just due to the mess ups. The bottom came out okay. It's not quite perfect because I parted it off a little early. I think I should have sanded it a little bit while it was on there. Just a little bit of a nick right there. But otherwise, it's not all that bad. The yarn slot didn't come out quite the way that I wanted. It's supposed to look like a yarn ball kind of unraveling, and instead it came out looking a little bit like, well, let's say one viewer described it as looking potentially like a fertility bowl. And now that he said that, I can't unsee that. So